Right now this truck is sitting on 15-inch wheels and 235 75 R15 General Grabber AT2 tires, and I think they're a little bit small for this truck. It's a quad cab or a crew, four-door crew model 4x4. So I'm gonna put some winter tires on it, and they're bigger. These are the same style wheel, the 10-spoke or a twin 5-spoke wheel, except for these aren't painted black. However, these are 16-inch, and the tire is much taller. It's a 235, so it's the same width. 235 85, so it's a lot taller. 235 85 16, bigger rim and a bigger diameter. These are actually all-terrain tires, the same as these. These are all-terrain AT2. AT stands for all-terrain. These are actually all-terrain also, but they have this here snowflake, which means they have superior traction in the winter as well. So you're legally allowed to run these in like Alaska and mountainous terrains because they have that symbol for superior winter traction. But you can run these tires year round, and they're actually an all-terrain tire. They're an E-rated 10-ply tire, Goodyear Wrangler Duratrac. Anyway, this truck has no lift. It's just a factory suspension. So I'm gonna try one on and see how it fits on the front. Just a quick little side-by-side comparison. It's hard to tell, but the wheels are the same pattern, same style. But these are 16 by 8, and I think these are 15 by 7 or 15 by 8, I'm not sure. Well, I got the wheel on there, and it does a better job of filling out the wheel well, that's for sure. Now there's a little bit of room in the front of the tire, and I think there's less room in the back. So yeah, so the real test will be cornering, or turning. I'll have to turn the wheel and see if the corners rub or anything like that. But there's a lot of room in the front. I don't see any problem there. And if it wasn't for this mud flap here, I wouldn't see any problem in the back either. But since there's a pretty substantial mud flap, I'm gonna have to check it and turn the wheel and see if it touches. Alright, I've got the wheel turned out to check the clearance on the back side of the wheel. And yeah, man, that looks pretty good. And on the back, it is super close. Well, close to the mud flap, but it's not touching. I could probably get my one finger in there, in between the running board and the tire, and that's turned. So it's always the corner of the tire that you got to watch for. So that's why I have the wheels turned like this. And honestly, since it's not touching anything anywhere, That's probably the biggest tire that you could run without a lift. The front end does ride a little bit lower than the rear end. Rear end does sit up a little bit higher, so I might end up jacking up the torsion bars on this truck, or putting a cheap lift kit on it. I think the lift kit for this, the suspension lift's only $120, because all it is torsion keys for the torsion bar up front, and 2-inch blocks or 3-inch blocks for the rear. So the suspension lift is pretty cheap and easy for these trucks. But even without a lift, it fits. It fits with no lift. And they're not huge tires, but they're just enough to get more ground clearance, and if you ever want to go play off-road, you got the all-terrain tire there, so it should be decent off-road. Back here, it's pretty much, I don't know, you need an off-road vehicle more or less if you're the adventure type and you live in the country, I think. Anyway, these tires are they're all-terrain, so you can run them on the highway or off-road. And they're E-rated 10-ply. They're a heavy-duty Goodyear Wrangler Duratrac tire. Yeah, they seem to fit good. They're definitely oversized. Like, I've never heard of anybody putting this size on this type of vehicle. This is a Dodge Dakota, and even cranked full, cranked all the way, it doesn't touch. It's awfully close, but it's not close to the truck. It's just close to this mud flap. Like, the truck is out here, you know what I mean? It's not close to the truck. It's just this cheap, flimsy mud flap. They might come off of there someday, who knows? Anyway, if they fit on the front, they'll definitely fit on the rear. There's lots of room on the rear. Same thing with the mud flap though. Mud flap is pretty darn close and flimsy. I don't really like those, but I think these tires are gonna fit, and I think they're gonna work good. This truck has a really low gear ratio. It's like a 3.9 to 1 ratio, and it's in overdrive, going 90 kilometers per hour. It's revving at almost 2,000 RPMs with these tiny little 235 tires. These little tires here. So having a taller tire the same width, these are 235s also, but it's taller, it should increase or improve the overall gear ratio as well. Well, that's a little better. She's sitting on all 4 16s now. Truck is dirty. Really needs to be washed. All the salt, all the road salt. That shit is bad too. It kills all the trees on the side of the road, and it'll kill your truck too. Anyway, yeah, I got all 4 of them on. There's not a lot of room in behind the wheels, especially this one. This one here is like barely minuscule, the gap, but these are just flimsy flares that somebody added on. These are add-on, so I might just do away with them, or move them, or modify them, or heat them up with a heat gun or something. Anyway, the truck sits up a little bit higher. The front bumper is way above my knee now. She's got a nice little stance to it now, and these tires fit. They fit pretty good, factory rims. So if you're looking for a little bit of a bigger tire for your, or a little bit of a taller tire for your rig, I really like this size, 235, 85, 16. I think they're a 31.5 inch tall tire, or 31.9, I can't remember. They're pretty tall, pretty close to 32 inches. But they're not wide, so they're easy on your ball joints and they're easy on your fuel consumption. They're tall, but they're kind of narrow. 235 is like 8 inches wide, so they're kind of nicely suited to the factory rims. Anyway, they're on, and they fit good. Well, they fit decent. I haven't had to do any serious modifications, and I haven't lifted it or anything. So now I guess to try them out. They're supposed to be really good in the winter, these Duratracs, and since they're E-rated 10-ply tire, they should be good for off-roading and towing as well. And when this spring or summer comes around, I'll probably just they can probably stay right on there because they're all-terrain off-road tire. Yeah. You're driving through the trees in a blizzard storm. What's my age again? Friggin' rights. The camera doesn't really do it justice. You can't see how bad it is, but it's like a blizzard right now. It's actually snowing and you can't even see the snow on the camera, I don't think. Man, I may have gotten lost a little bit. I might have to turn around because they're getting into the scratchy spots. I don't want to scratch all the friggin' paint up. This thing's been pretty capable though, considering it was in two-wheel drive for half the time, stopping and turning around. Oh shit, I hit a soft spot. Look good. Yeah, you can see the tracks, just how deep it is. I don't like those scratchy sounds when I hit the trees and stuff like that. Scratch up the fancy paint job on the fancy friggin' scrap price truck. The fancy $500 rig. That's a good thing about $500 rigs. Oh, is that a tree? I can't believe I drove alongside a tree and didn't even notice it. Snowmobile tank, man. Everybody should have a snowmobile tank. Snowmobile tanks are the best things ever. This friggin' dirty truck needs to go and get washed.